Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is Pit Talk, Pulling Pits and Opinions with your host, Gunny G, where service members help service members, period. Follow, like, subscribe everywhere you get your podcast and on most social media platforms. Let us know how we're doing. Any criticism is good criticism. Let's get into it. We got a special guest, Mr. Twitter famous, a.k.a. Grumpy. All right. And I'll let him introduce himself here shortly, but he goes by Mike. Go ahead and say hello to the listeners.
Hey, how you doing?
All right. Hey, Mike. Hey, Mr. Grumpy, whatever you want me to call you, I'm all for it.
I don't care what you call me as long as you call me at dinner time.
That's good. If you live close enough, you'd be here every other weekend, probably.
Yeah.
Let's get right into it. Hey, Mike, share when you came in, when you got out, your duty stations, what you did while you were in the military, and why you transitioned out.
Okay, I'm originally from Decatur, Alabama, which is about an hour and a half south of Nashville, Tennessee, right along the Alabama-Tennessee border there. I enlisted in the Marine Corps straight out of high school. I signed up in the late entry program at 17, and then I was headed down the wrong road. My father was a draftee, so he wasn't that wild about me going in the military, but I had an uncle that was already in the Marine Corps, and I used to spend the summers with him at Camp Lejeune. He was stationed at New River, and we lived there at Tarawa Terrace. And so I kind of followed him. And then after, like I said, I enlisted at 17 my senior year. And then I was 18 when I left for Paris Island in 83. And then from there, I went to Camp Geiger for ITS. And from there, I was thinking, being from Alabama, I'd probably stay right there at Lejeune. But I found myself going all the way across the ocean, and I was stationed at Kaneohe Bay with 3rd Battalion, 3rd Marines.
I read.
Where I served there as 0311, got there. I was one of the biggest guys in the platoon, so I went up carrying the platoon radio for 2 deployment cycles. And did 3 deployments out of there, did a Westpac, then we did 2 flyovers to Okinawa, and then we'd pump out to Korea or wherever from there. Like I said, it was the 80s, mostly peacekeeping missions. That's go here, be a good guy, go there. We ran some operations in the Philippines, and at the end of our deployment, you go out and you come back 30 days, you go to the Upper Mile Camp. And we was our company, I was with Lima, an India company. We got tacked to go over to Lady Island. Apparently some NPA captured an armory over on Lady Island or something other. So we went and secured the beachhead while they went in and did their business, which was kind of typical, like I said, UN peacekeeping type stuff. We went in, had made sure we had our magazines, duct tape over our magazines with magazines turned upside down, and they wanted us to blend in the Filipino Marines, so they kept our sleeves rolled up and made us cami paint our arms and our face. Typical, 1980s Marine Corps stuff. Then in 88, I re-enlisted, went to what I thought was Marine Barracks, Mare Island, because I said, well, I'm ready to go. I'm ready to do a B-billet type thing. And so I got there and walked in to check in. They said, well, welcome to Marine Corps Security Forces. You're going to Fast Company. We're forming 4th Platoon. So I was a plank owner of 4th Platoon, Fast Company Pacific, and went ahead and did 5 more deployments out of there. When Saddam invaded Kuwait, our platoon was already deployed, so we missed out on the first part of the Desert Shield stuff. After that, I'd messed my leg up and lost the arch in my left foot. So I said, well, I wanted to stay in. So I went to look at re-enlisting, but I wanted to change MOSs and try to get out of the 0311 field. And they said, no, you're already in E5. You need to stay in the MOS. I said, well, I'll just go on home then. So I went on home from there and went back to Decatur. Decatur, stayed there got back toward the end of 91 and stayed there and wound up, did a couple of jobs there, worked as a police officer. Then I got on with the Tennessee Valley Authority, which is quasi-fed, handled the Browns Ferry nuke plant around in that. And then I transferred from Department of Energy to Department of Defense, and that's where I retired from. And Went with them in '95. That's where I retired from, and set into 2016. And
Wow.
the rest is all history from there.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So you said 91. My goodness. How was it for you when you got out?
It was strange. It was strange. Like I said, I went in at 18, got out when I was right around 26. So I pretty much grew up, in the Marine Corps. And plus, I met a girl while I was in Hawaii, and we got married while I was in Hawaii. We were both young, and plus, like a lot of guys, I had a hard time readjusting. I try to go do this, door would slam in my face. Civilian world's cruel. When you come out of the military and you go into the civilian world, you realize just how cruel the world can be.
Hmm.
They really don't care. Everything you did in the military, like in the '90s, it's not like it is now, where everybody's, everybody's pro vet. We need, help the vets. When you get out, like a lot of the Vietnam guys, and pre-Desert Storm guys, you're a vet. Oh, okay, all right, then here you go. Have a good day. It's just not the same.
Interesting. That's fascinating to hear. Come from you, Mike. I'll tell you what. Is that still the same thought process you got now?
No, it's a lot better now. It's a lot better now for veteran wise. There's more organizations now, and people are more attuned to what vets go through as far as the military. I I mean, I know a lot of people may not agree with me, but when you're in the military, you're how do I say this without being controversial or
No,
pissing people
it's it.
off?
This is your
You're
show. You do whatever you want.
you're more sheltered, for the lack of a better word or use of a better word. You're more sheltered. You don't face layoffs, you know, and stuff like that. You don't worry about health care. You got a place to live. You step out in the like whenever you got a family and you step out in the civilian world, you got to find health care. You got to find a job that provides decent benefits. You got to find a house. There ain't no rent plus, there ain't no extra money for dependents, to help put a roof over your family's head and things like that. That's what I mean by you're kind of
You
sheltered
know,
in the military.
I'm gonna disagree. I'm gonna disagree here, Mike, in a positive, in a good way though. In a good. I don't think it's sheltered. I think is we take care of our own.
Well, yeah. I was looking for a better word, but that's the only thing that's
But I
popped
do
into my
I
head right now.
I do agree that it might not be good that we do all those things, but it's definitely when it comes to I've been in 15 years, shy of 15 years, right? And I'm a big proponent of the organization. I'm thoroughly indoctrinated, thoroughly.
Yeah.
And I got to say, there's a double-edged sword, right? When we consider what we consider family, and when we take the idea of family is, I got to take care of them. I got to provide them a room. I got to give them food. I got to give them these things to
Hmm.
survive. Because if I do these things, I get a better product or better
Hmm.
execution of the mission or the commander's intent. And I think that's what it is, right? If we take care of our young folk, or what they would be considered for me, my kids, right? School, they're basically my kids because I got a 17-year-old almost,
Hmm.
and these guys are 18 to 20. If I take care of them, they're probably gonna take the trash out for me good. I won't have to remind them to do the recycle. I don't want, all these little small things. So if I take
Yeah.
care of them, the product is better. I think that's the intent. I don't know if but that is fair point though, because when they do transition out, now I done got a house. I got to pay for my own food now. I got to do all these things that I wasn't really thinking about when I was under my mom and dad's wing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
And
that
you like I
that is
said,
a fair point.
you face things, like you face things like the economy. The economy, actually affects your life once you're out,
Hmm.
because the economy goes bad, your job may go with it. From between 91 and 95, heck, I had 4 jobs. I worked as a security guard until I finally got on with I was working part time as a police officer, because I was wanting the fast company, kind of got me wanting to kind of doing the CQB and hostage rescue. It kind of got me geared toward the law enforcement type field. So I was able to get on this little bitty rinky dink police department. There was like 4 or 5 officers just north, well, just south of Decatur, between Decatur and Twin.
Oh, stand by. The
And
lights went out. Hold on, Mike.
yeah,
I forget. We like to conserve energy. My bad.
but I got on with that little Flint City Police Department and wasn't with them a hot 4 or 5 months. They got annexed by Decatur. Decatur Police Department said, "Bye, y'all go. Y'all go if you want to get on. You can go. You're welcome to reapply with us." So then I got on with Alabama Department of Corrections, which my father been with that state of Alabama for 30-something years. He's like, "You're set now, son." He said, "You got to worry about a job. You got to worry about none of that and everything." Heck, I was with him about another 6 or 7 months. State layoffs. Got caught in layoffs. Here I am, like I said, a married man, 26, 27 years old, wife, 2 kids, facing facing layoffs. So then I go transfer over. Well, I get lucky and I get on with the Tennessee Valley Authority, and I'm working with them. I worked with them for about 2 years, 2.5 years. And it seemed like every time my wife and I would talk about buying a house and a new car, I'd walk into work, man, we fixing to have to lay off. We fixing to privatize. They gonna go private security. For about 2.5, 3 years, I dealt with that. Finally, I got to the point where, like, lay me off, shut the hell up. All right, every time I do this, lay me off or do it. So one of my lieutenants there said, "Hey, man, you ever thought about working in the prison?" I said, "Well, I came here from the prison." I said, where are you talking about, Alabama?" He said, No, I'm talking about feds. I said, prison's prison. Where do I apply? He said, "Well, my brother is a case manager down there, and one of my cousins works in human resources." And he said, and Bush, H.W., the daddy, signed a thing into law about the Veterans Readjustment Act. He said, if you're a vet and got a campaign medal, or you're disabled, then they can hire you right off the street. You don't have to worry about going on the National Registry. So I said, okay. So he gave me the paperwork, and I filled it out, and I went down there and I interviewed and everything, and then they wound up picking me up in February of 95. And from there, like I said, it's all the way straight 2022, or 2016. That's where I was at. But still got caught up in the, what we had, like seven government shutdowns. And our first government shutdown was about 2 months after a riot where they just about burned our joint pretty much down. And we was, and I was like, damn, I was there, I'd already been through a riot. Next thing you know, government shutdown for about a month and a half under Clinton. I was like, my gosh. I said, when does it stop? But, we survived. Good Lord took care of us, and we survived. And now here I am working part-time, setting my own hours.
Hell yeah. That's what it's all about. It's not about the money. It's about the lifestyle. That's what it's at, Mike.
It's like my father told me, as long as you're doing what you enjoy doing, you're a rich man. And if you enjoy doing it, what matters, doesn't matter if you're a millionaire, like you got guys that may work 30, 40 years doing something they hate to, I enjoyed, even though, it was federal prison, and I dealt with some serious criminals and some straight up a-holes, and some of those were my own officers, but I enjoyed going to work every day.
That's good.
Every day.
That's good, Mike. Hey, well, when did you retire?
I retired right around toward the end of 2016.
Wow.
Right around 2016. It's not, matter of fact, there was the campaign with Trump and Hillary was still going on whenever I retired.
Nice. I was going to ask, you're basically on your OFP now, huh? Just chilling.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Yeah. Matter of fact, about 2 more years, 3 more years, all that ends. And I guess I'm going to start drawing. I'm going to look at drawing Social Security. I'm going to draw it while I'm there, while it's there. Because if you wait till 67 or 70, there's no guarantee it's going to be there. So
that's true.
I'm going to go. Everybody says, well, you need to wait. I said, if I wait, it may not be there, and
it's been,
I put in for what, 40 years? Well, from the time I was 16, I said, I'm going to get it while it's there.
Hell yeah. Might as well take advantage of it.
Yeah.
You did the time, you take the money. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, that's one thing about it. That's one thing about the federal government, how they make you mad. They make you, grit your teeth. They make you swear. And they make you hate them. As far as the retirement, like federal law enforcement, we had mandatory age 57,
Yeah,
retirement, which I bought
same.
my 8 years. I bought my 8 years in the military. Then I worked 22 there. That gave me a 30 years federal service. So I was able to go out. I was able to go out at 51. So I've been retired since I was 51. And
Hell
and
yeah, Mike. That's what's
working
up.
part time, and you get that OPM supplement until you turn Social Security age, which that
Mm-hmm.
covers your taxes, that covers your health insurance, that covers all that. But as soon as you hit that Social Security age, which for us they cut it off at 62, then you better go find you another, better paying, get you a job or have
Huh.
everything paid off, because at 62 they cut it off.
Interesting. I didn't know that.
Yeah, yeah, 60. Well, for us, now you're younger than I am. It may be a different age for you, but
It might be
but for
55.
it could be, but for us it was
Holy,
62. For us it's 62.
that's crazy. I didn't even know. But even that tidbit though, they just cut it off. You got to transition
Yeah,
to a different one. That's wild. I
yeah.
didn't
That's
know
one
that.
good thing about the health insurance too. I guess I'd say when I was still active in the Department of DOJ, the health insurance was, family. You only had like two options. You had single and family. But then whenever Obama and them, they started having getting more into the LGBT, they come up with another category called Self Plus One. So when I got ready, which was actually cheaper, it fell right in between single and family. So whenever I got ready to retire, I'm looking at the health insurance and I said, Self Plus One, that's cheaper than family. It's cheaper than family. But so I said, so I went ahead and signed up for Self Plus One.
That's a
So I told my wife, I said, I guess you'll be my partner from now on. But
yeah, right.
yeah, but they got, good health insurance, and OPM supplement covers the health insurance and all that. So
That's
it's good.
a
It's a good
in a
life.
nutshell. You're doing well. I like that, Mike. I
Yeah,
appreciate
yeah,
that.
yeah.
How did getting married in the military help you or make it a little tougher?
I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. I mean, the tough part, of course, deploying. And in Hawaii, I don't know if you served in Hawaii with the grunts. In Hawaii, we had pretty much had to go everywhere to train. Especially, in the 80s, we either had to go to the Big Island, Pacalo training area.
Mm-hmm.
We'd have to go to CAX, Bridgeport. That's where we would do all our training. Unless we went to what's that? What's that little jungle area? Starts with a K.
I know what you're
I
talking
can't.
about. My buddy was just there. I
Yeah, they got
forget it though.
all the
Jungle.
mongoose.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Over there, we'd either go there or we'd go to Big Island, California, or whatever. So, I mean, in between deployments, the year or so that I wasn't deployed to Okinawa, heck, we was gone a month here, 2 months there. So I was probably actually on the island maybe 3 or 4 months out of that. So, I mean, that part was rough, but I got a good wife. She understood, and she was supportive. She's still supportive. So it was okay. It was
That's
good to
good.
go. Now, when kids started coming, I made sure that I made sure none of them was born in Tripler. They was all born in the civilian hospital. I said, no,
Uh,
we ain't going to Crippler.
that's messed up. Army medicine. Hey, I'm not gonna. You know what? I agree. First of all, being in because we were in KB from. Well, we just came from there. I'm with security forces. So you were with Fast Company.
Yeah,
They're under the regiment up in Virginia, and so I'm
yeah.
kind of like a sister battalion to them. But we're over here at security forces in Washington. So some of banger,
Bremerton, banger.
banger. Yeah.
Yeah,
We
yeah.
just had some Marines come from. Go ahead.
We was at Bremerton a lot. We did a lot of RFDF missions there at Bremerton. Yeah,
Yeah, we had a couple of Marines come from Hawaii at advanced infantry course, and they were up in the jungle the entire time. I'm like, hell yeah, get some. So I know what you're talking about. I just forgot the name of it because they mentioned it too just a couple of days ago.
I can't remember the name, but one of the fun things was we was we'd spent a week there one time, and we was gonna, matter of fact, Krulak. Krulak, General Krulak, who was commandant, he was our battalion commander at the time.
Wow.
Yeah, that's how long ago I was in. But we decided we was going to hump back from Kahuku's. That's it.
That's it.
Kahuku's. We decided we're going to hump from Kahuku's back to K-Bay. And so we are. We're humping down the highway, and that's when they was still filming Magnum PI. So they, and just fact, Tom Selleck just happened to be cruising down the highway as we was humping down through there. And there was one day we was Go ahead.
No,
Then
it's
there's another time, which is kind of funny. We was going up to Makapu Point, and we was hunting. The helicopters landing. We was walking up and got there, and Penthouse was doing a photo shoot up at Makapu Point. Our captain said, "No, y'all turn around, face the other way until they could get the girls out of there."
That's what's up. KB has some good stuff. Now there's a lot of rules. You can't drive a certain time. You can't start the range at a certain time because you don't want to mess with the local folk. There's just way too many rules. But I do like, what's that Air Force base that they got up there?
Hickle.
The beaches up there. No. Dang. Fort Hot? No, they have a beach. The campground. That was fun.
I think, Bellows.
Bellows, that's what it was. Yeah.
Bellows Air Force Base.
Love Bellows Air Force Base. And now apparently they had to get rid of their beach to the state. Yeah, so I was like, all right, whatever.
A lot has changed. They didn't shut Third Marines down. I don't even think they're in K-Bay anymore.
Nah, look, I got my boy EAS from there. Lineage right here. You like that or what, Mike?
Oh yeah, that's nice.
You like that?
That's
nice. Yeah. My boy got it from me. He was with them, and EAS. He was my Marine, and he's like, "Hey, what was that? Staff Sergeant? Staff Sergeant." He goes, "Hey, Staff Sergeant, I'm gonna give you this. This means something to me." I'm like, "It's gonna mean something to me because they're going off here pretty at the end of the year." So yeah, I took that bad boy. That's what's up, Mike. Small world, huh? Stationed at K-Bay. Came out here to Washington.
Yeah, and then I went there to Mare Island. Was at Mare Island, and like I said, I EAS from there. Then me and the wife and kids drove from Mare Island all the way back to Alabama with a 2-year-old and a 2-year-old and about a 3-year-old and about a 1.5 2-year-old. Yeah.
Well, were the 2-year-old was still in diapers?
No. I think she was out. The little boy was. He was still in diapers.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's good. So you only got 2, huh?
I got 2. Yeah.
Are you a granddad yet?
I got 7 of those.
Hell yeah, Mike. You see what happens? You say, I'm going to cut it off here at 2, but then I got more than the more than I planned to get.
Yeah.
That's what's up. That's a blessing, Mike, though. Blessing.
Oh, yeah. I love them to death. Matter of fact, my son was, he just got medically retired from the Navy after 13 years. And they're down at Pensacola. He was a recruiter down there at Pace. And that's where they're living at. And he's the one he's got 5. And my daughter, she still lives here around us. And she's got 2. But they're all going to be up here, that one week, that weekend after Christmas. I'm going to have a whole house full. Yeah.
That's what's up, Mike. That's awesome. Yeah. When they always want to come back, you know what I mean?
Yeah. But he'll probably stay in the Florida area. He likes it down there. Which he's in northern Florida, which is pretty much South Alabama. Ain't much difference. There's not much difference there.
No. I mean, who doesn't want to be in beautiful weather all the time? You know what I mean?
Oh yeah. Well, here it's about the same. The weather's about the same where I'm at in Alabama and in northern Florida. It's about the same. Maybe a degree or 2.
Sticky. A little sticky sometimes.
It gets Africa hot here, man. Yeah.
Africa.
Yeah. We my wife, like I said, my wife's from a little island called Palau. Way out in the South Pacific. Being Marines, I know you've heard of Peleliu. Well, that's where Peleliu's at. That's one of the islands in their deal. And we went there a year and a half ago and spent about a month and a half. And everybody's like, "Uncle Mike, are you okay? Is it too hot?" I'm like, no, this ain't nothing. This ain't nothing compared to the humidity in Alabama. No, this ain't nothing.
No. It's pretty. It's pretty out there in the Pacific. Mike, I got to weave back in.
Okay.
in 91, 91, you did 8.
Mhm. Mhm.
You did a lot of deployments. Desert, you said the Gulf, was it the Gulf, Desert? Desert Gulf.
No, we was already deployed when
Yeah, 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 yeah.
kicked off. So we got extended on our mission through the whole
Hmm. How did that go for you and your family?
well, wife, after that many years, that many deployments, she's used to it. And she, like I said, she's a strong woman and she's very independent, and of course, being a small, I don't want to say Mardet, but being a Marines on a Navy base, a lot of the Marine wives, so they kind
Mm,
of got together, and we had some good friends in fast company, and the wives had one good friend that we were in the same platoon. Him and his wife and my wife were real close friends, and we'd take turns babysitting and all that. So
that's
it
good.
went okay. They was able to help each other out, lean on each other.
That's
Yeah,
awesome. That's good. That's good because hey, I like they say water's thicker than blood sometimes. That's true when you're in the military, especially in the Marine Corps.
it is. It
You start
is.
to
Yeah,
figure out who's who's at your hip and who's not. But everybody, you can always reach back to your little Rolodex. For you to be a Rolodex, mine's electronic, you know what I mean? Mine's on my phone, but
yeah, yeah, yeah. I
I
mean,
could reach back to somebody and it never changed. Right where we left off. You know what I mean? Is that the same for you?
yeah, 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 and it's amazing because growing up in Alabama, in the '60s and '70s, and even whenever I left home in '83, there wasn't about all I was around was white people and black people. I'd never met a Hispanic or a Asian. Well, I had one aunt. I had my uncle had married a girl from the Philippines. That's the only really foreigner I'd ever met before I left and went and before I joined the Marine Corps.
Mm,
And so I got to boot camp Parris Island, and most of everybody in my platoon was out of the Pennsylvania, Ohio, New York area. There was only me and one other guy that was from the South. Everybody else was from, Pennsylvania, New York, Ohio, Michigan area. And then when I got to Hawaii, I met all these different kind of people, Samoans, Puerto Ricans, Mexicans. We had one guy from from Taiwan that was in our platoon. Had one guy from Lebanon that was in another platoon in our company.
wow.
Then I meet all these different people, and really two of my best friends were two Mexican guys from Texas, and
Yeah.
one of them we're still in contact today. I mean, you
Nice.
meet you make lifelong friends and people that if I need you, he's there. Matter of fact, he flew all the way out. He flew all the way out about 2 years ago and spent the weekend with us.
Yeah.
It's just a good deal.
That's awesome because you look out to what's going on in America, not anybody else, but just America in general. And they keep talking about racism. You get talking about this and that, and I'm like, man, if you just join the military, I promise you, you won't have that mindset no more, because
And
everybody and their mother is in, and you realize, wow, my view of who was in front of me just went from this to like,
yeah,
and the curiosity hits, the just the conversations start happening, and you forget like, wow, this is not a real thing here in the military, especially in the Marine Corps. You know what I mean? Is that's fair?
it's fair. As a matter of fact, I think it's fair out in the civilian world now, especially here. You you get on Twitter, other social media platforms. You talk about racism this, racism that, the white man. The white man's the oppressor and all. Dude, I could go to Walmart. I could go anywhere here in Alabama, which some of the people up north may think Alabama's one of the most backwood places in the United States. And I just let them run their mouths, because really Alabama's one of the best kept secrets in the United States. I mean, you don't see that. I can go anywhere here in my hometown, and you don't see it. People, in Alabama, we still wave at each other when we drive by, pass by in cars. Everybody
Oh,
waves
amazing.
and
Yeah,
stuff. It's not like that. So I see them talk about racism and all that and I laugh because, dude, you're crazy.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
You're out of your ever loving mind.
Uh-huh. This is not
It's
100%
just
American. I think it's like 10%.
yeah,
One of my good friends, Lieutenant Colonel Freddie Perez, shout out if you're listening. He said it's the loud minority that makes the waters ripple. Hold on. God dang, conservative energy. Hurry up. Hurry up. There you go.
Is that some of Gavin Newsom's brownouts?
No, that's Washington State trying not to leave a
Oh,
footprint.
that's right. That's right. You're in Washington now. Yeah.
He talked about the silent majority, or the loud minority that makes the ripples in the water versus the silent majority. And I think that's the case with that specific topic. I think for the vast majority of us, like, where do you live, in a cave? You know what I mean? Like, why are you saying these things? Because this is not real. But I gotta ask, 91, you bought your time back, right? I was just talking to a good friend of mine, Pat, and he was like, man, transition was rough. You lose camaraderie, you lose the mission set, you lose the purpose, and people struggle with that. Did you struggle with that when you got out?
When I first got out, I did. When I first got out, I did. And I didn't find it again, and really until I got to the Bureau, DOJ. I was with the Federal Bureau of Prisons. I found it again, because there, the officers, even though they're civilians, for that period of time, you're behind that wire. You got to have each other's six, and you depend on each other. And there's guys we've gone to battle with. Some of the guys we had locked up in there were some dregs of society. I'm talking some cold-hearted individuals that'd just soon kill you as look at you. Now, not all of them. I mean, not all of them's like that. Some of them are good people that just messed up. I mean, we had guys that all they did wrong, and they were serving a 6-month federal prison. They got a DUI on a military base. Like civilians working on a military base, they got a DUI, got sent to prison for 6 months. Some guys got caught by the game warden at the wrong time. And then, but we had some serious guys that they were right where they needed to be. And for that period of time that we, like I said, you're behind there, you had guys that, you depend on each other. I was there. I worked as a guard, working in the cell blocks for about 6 or 7 years. And then I transferred to another department where we it was the same, me and 3 other guys. We processed inmates in, off the bus, shipped inmates out. We handled the property and we handled the mail. And we worked together for the rest of my time there, for about 15, 16 years. We were it. And we were tight. I mean, we were tight. We had other officers like, man, I don't come work over there. You guys are tight. Because, I mean, if there's a body alarm, going off in one of the cell blocks, we'd actually race each other to get to it. I mean, that's just the way it was. We would race each other to get to it, and camaraderie there again.
Yeah.
And there's 5 guys now. All of us are retired but one. We meet up about once or twice a month. We we'll eat out. We'll go catch a movie. We're big into like these ghost hunting, so we'll go do some ghost hunting and stuff and all that. Oh, that's a whole nother story there, dude. The job I'm in now, I started there, like I said, right after I retired. A buddy of mine owns the company, and I started working for him about 2 or 3 weeks after I retired. And a house that I was servicing, and there's a little southern town, Civil War type battles were fought there. It's called Alpine. And he bought a house that was built in 1850. And there's a little house next to it that was built in 1859 and was used as a hospital in the Civil War. And I was servicing that house, and they owned a machining company. And he would just say, yeah, going over there and spray it. There wouldn't nobody be there but me. And I felt the creeps every time I walk in that house. Man, it's like somebody was hanging on my shoulders, just watching everything I would do. And I just felt this pressure on me the whole time I was in that big house. Then I'd go to the little house, and it's like a little one room. Then, boom, another room right on top of it, stairs up the side. I'd go up the stairs, and I would catch every time, man, from 2016 to 2019, how long I worked in that house, I'd catch a woman off to the side. And I'm like, dude, I'm going crazy. I mean, I thought I'd lost my mind. So
Nah.
about 3 or 4 months ago, another guy that I work with, we met up. He took over that route, and I said, "Dude, that house in Alpine." He said, "The big old ain't big." I said, "Yeah, the plantation is called Spring Hill Plantation. Was the name of the plantation." I said, "You ever get the creeps in that house?" He said, "I said, especially the little house." He said, "No." He said, "I got the creeps in the little house. I didn't get the creeps in the big house." I said, "Dude," I said, "I was in there one time, and I went up the servant stairs and was walking across this little breezeway where the main winding staircase comes around, and there's a door propped up there, and it was actually propped, had a weight down at the bottom. That door slammed. I got past that door, slammed shut so hard, I felt the breeze as it went by my head, and when it slammed, I thought somebody fired a shotgun next to my ear. That's how loud that door slammed. And he said, "Yeah, man." He said, "Yeah, but I get the creeps in the little house." So that day he goes down there to spray it. He sends me they wrote a book about it. The owner wrote a book about it, had the house exercise. So me and him, all these buddies all my prison buddies, I call them my prison buddies. We all meet up and we talk about going ghost hunting, because there's a lot of places around here, old
I
cemeteries and
bet.
old plantations. Yeah,
Don't play. Don't
that's
play,
just some
Mike.
hobbies.
You better.
That's just some hobbies that we.
You better take a Glock, homie. Stop playing.
Oh, if I can't shoot it, I ain't messing with it.
There you go. Good. There you go.
Yeah,
Hey, look, Mike. I
yeah.
gotta ask. In '91, when you lost, what did it feel like when you lost purpose? Or you said was struggle for a little bit. What did it feel like for you?
I'll be honest with you. I got kind of depressed. It was kind of depressing because, like I said, you're not taking the government. I didn't have the Marine Corps or the government or the Navy welfare program or none of that taking care of me no more. Or helping me out. And I'm like, and it's like a heavy weight. It's like a
Uh,
heavy weight on you. And there's a lot of times where we lived off hot dogs and ramen noodles, especially when I get caught in this layoff and I'm between jobs. My wife learned to work miracles with hot dogs. I mean, I mean, but
Very
she
good.
worked miracles with it. And then when I finally transferred down here, down to where I'm at now and retired, it's like it's difference between night and day. When I was at home before I got this job, I was angry a lot. I was short. My fuse was short. And, because, as a man, you raise, take care of your family. That's what a
Yeah.
man does, and, my kids would want something and we wouldn't have the money to do it. My wife would want to go somewhere, go out to eat or do something, and, the money just ain't there, and I feel, like I said, I was wanting a career in law enforcement bad. It's something I feel God was leading me to do. Was
Yeah.
That's where God wanted me to be, was in law enforcement. And I believe that's where God wanted me at, was this prison down here, because there's several times down at that prison, the 22 years I was there, I should have been dead. I should have been dead. I should have been a dead man, or at least severely maimed. But like I said, I was short. It was kind of depressing. You had your high moments and low moments. I'd get a job, I'd be happy and all that, even though money would be tight. But then all of a sudden, bam, that door would slam, and you find yourself right back down, fighting your way back out.
We right now, the way it seems is service members, when they get out, they struggle. And that's the
They
struggle
do.
that we're talking about. That's the struggle we're talking about now is they lose purpose. They lose the mission set. They lose how to be task oriented. They forget the brilliance and the basics, right? And
Yeah.
we got to
Well,
touch on that piece, right? Go ahead.
you go from being a sergeant, and in charge of 15, 15 Marines, sometimes in charge of the whole platoon. You go from like supervising a fast platoon on an RFDF mission to being a low man on the totem pole, a security guard watching some parked concrete trucks, at 2 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
I don't want to say it's degrading, because any job is a good job. Any job is an honorable job. But you go from doing that to this, and you do feel, I don't want to say less a man, but you feel like you're not providing like you should be providing,
Yeah.
and your potential is so much more.
Yeah.
Your potential, my training, I could be doing so much more.
That's
And
good.
it does. Like I said, it makes you feel less than you really are. And
Yeah.
it,
Yeah.
it
That's
and it
fair.
play and it plays tricks on your mind. Well, then I'm a Christian. I'm a spiritual guy,
I
and
mean,
I believe in God, and I believe, if there's a God, there's got to be a devil. And the devil sees that weakness, devil sees that despair in you, and he starts
uh
playing with you. He starts playing those little word games in your head, like, man, you ain't gonna never be nothing.
yeah.
You as well as just go ahead, just go on ahead, just give up, wander off somewhere. Your wife and them, they'll be better off somebody else, and or you're better off. You're more valuable to your family dead than you are alive. You know,
Mm,
those little things play in your mind a lot. But
yeah.
that's where strong values, a good family. Because like I said, my wife brought me through a lot, especially, dealing with PTSD from the prison and so on. There's a lot of times I'd come home, and luckily I'd have my wife. She was always willing to listen to me and let me talk about what had happened that day, and there's one homicide that we was involved in where Aryan Brotherhood guy did a hit on a Texas AB guy. In the prison, all you can do is you can't pop a cell door until backup gets there. You just got to stand in the window and watch until help arrives. That way you can witness and write down what happened. And so I come home and I'm like, want to talk. I know I got to talk. And that's so. Luckily, I had a good wife. And the good Lord, to lean on. But
Absolutely,
yeah,
Mike. Let me. We're weaving it back in, and you kind of you hit the last question that I had. Give tools for the toolbox. You did. You had strong family values, strong values. Period. You had a tribe. You got to find your tribe. Who's part of your tribe that gets you moving forward, taking 30-inch steps forward, not backward. And you got to talk. Communication. Very important, right? There's no way that we can improve without either disagreeing or agreeing on something. That's progress.
yeah. And if you don't have a family, good friends. Some good friends. You know,
Mhm.
like I said, there's 4 or 5 guys from the prison. All of us pretty much went through some of the same experiences. And like I said, we get together once or twice a month, and whenever we're eating, we'll get to talking about some of the stuff that happened, some of the funny stories. Because in the prison, for every tragedy, there's a story that's hilarious. That you can
Mm,
sit back and laugh at. If you're a single guy and you're not married, or you don't have a good girlfriend, good friends, somebody that you can go to, like what you said, a good tribe that you can go to, or if you're a church going guy, maybe one of the men from church, old
yeah.
old Vietnam vet or something that can talk, and you can talk to him about some of your experiences. I think that's what you see a lot of people, like a lot of commercials, a lot of these groups, they talk about, they bring stuff now about, you know, talk, call this number, call that number, like for guys coming home from Korea, Vietnam, some of the guys from, the peacekeeping missions from when I was in, Desert Storm guys, like I said, that wasn't a thing back then like it is now, during the war on terrorism,
Um,
that so luckily things are starting to come out more like the VA suicide hotlines and stuff. You never saw that in the early
mm,
90s and in the 80s, never heard it.
yeah, yeah, that makes sense. I'll tell you what, Mike, I appreciate your story. I appreciate your time, your experience, and speaking to service members past or present, right? Because the demographics are from 18 to 55. Everybody's listening, everybody's watching. So thank you for sharing your time, sharing your story. Any last save rounds for the listeners?
Well, like I said, if you're getting ready to transition, maybe getting out, or just got out, don't give up. Don't give up. There's something, if you feel like, I'm not happy doing what I'm doing, or whatever, don't give up. Keep banging away at it, because it's there. Like it's like it took me from 91 to 95 to finally find the career I was happy in, the job I was happy doing. And the camaraderie that I was seeking. It took me what, 5 years, 4 years, so don't give up. And if you're suffering, like I said, I've lost 5 comrades to suicide. And, like I said, it hurts. Even though you're gone from this world, the people that's behind are the ones that's dealing, that has to deal with it now. So reach out, talk to somebody. Oh, if you're on Twitter, find me, DM me. I'll talk to you.
Oh yeah, that's good, Mike. Thank you for your time again. Thank you for your service, first and foremost.
Thank you.
We
Thank
appreciate
you.
it.
You too, brother. You too.
Hey, thank you. Hey, hopefully we get to see each other in real life. Y'all in Bama. I might have to transition and different
Well,
duty
I got
stations
in
out to the East Coast.
I've
Hey, okay, there we go. There we go. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Pit Talk, pulling pits in the pins with your host, Gunny G, and Mike, a.k.a. Grumpy, where service members help service members, period. Follow, like, subscribe everywhere you get your podcast and on most social media platforms. Let us know how we're doing. Any criticism is good criticism, ladies and gentlemen. Me and Mike, we out. Chakas, Mike, I'll see you later. Laters. Stand by, contact. Fire. Stand by, contact. Ceasefire.
Pit Talk is a podcast featuring active service members to discuss their thoughts and opinions on various issues surrounding military life, current events, and history. The statements heard here are the opinions of its members and guests. These do not necessarily reflect the views of the Department of Defense and are not endorsed or sponsored in any way. Listener, viewer discretion advised.